in search of projects where state assistance will result in construction.
Well, it is a sanctioned Department of Revenue practice, and it's been plugged into the budget for 20 years. Now, I understand you disagree with it.
And it's immoral.
I understand that's your position philosophically, but I think we take the right steps to ratchet it downward. And interestingly, the costs on the admin are going to go up, not down, because you're going to see pumping stations come online. You're going to see additional staff by virtue of where you're going to need to be to maintain all those pumping stations. So you're going to see an EDU that's probably going to settle in the mid 500s, best case scenario, maybe lower. And what we've done as an overall package, we hope, is to give that sewer user some relief, because we can show a reduction in the EDU by 10%. And I think in 1 year, that's substantial progress in light of the way these numbers have been for 20 years. So I understand where you're going, and I hope people understand that this is not, I genuinely believe in my heart, this has nothing to do with posturing. You believe and would pass a polygraph that this runs very, very deep.
Wow.
But it is a sanctioned practice by the Department of Revenue to have a payment in lieu of tax, and that's what $300,000 of this is. Now, you can call that whatever you want. I've been very candid with you, and I don't think there's one of you that can disagree, that whether you want to call it fuzzy money or double counting or admin or kicking the can, I understand that this cost accounting, full cost accounting, looks like a double hit. I understand that. But it's a sanctioned practice. It doesn't make it right in your view. But it's something that's been plugged in for such a long time. I don't see how we can do this without a major disruption in service.
Well,
let me show you. Tired of hearing it,
let me show you how easy it's going to be.
I don't think it's going to be a very stabilizing event to change off the 965.
Mr. McAuliffe, it may be a sanctioned practice by the DOR, but so is payment in lieu of taxes. That's sanctioned as well. That's perfectly legal. But can you please explain to the ratepayer, the sewer ratepayer, how this town can justify charging a rate that includes a payment in lieu of a tax, which means that if this was a private enterprise, that building would be taxed at a certain property valuation, and that property valuation would be collected in the form of property tax. This is a municipal building. It's not a private enterprise. It's not a private building. By that logic, why aren't we charging the schools for the buildings they occupy? That's a municipal building. That's why we don't charge them taxes. But somehow the sewer ratepayer, do you think the taxpayer would ever suffer an increase in their taxes because of an administrative fee based on the fact that a school building has been valued and we need to collect that off their backs? It is pathetic, sir, to suggest that we should be charging ratepayers for taxes, phantom taxes that don't exist and never will. That building is owned by the entire municipality. That means everybody. It's not owned by the ratepayers, okay? And to suggest that property taxes somehow is justifiable because it's legal is more than disingenuous and more than unfair. But to get to the heart of the matter here, I see you've got listed a number of departments that are suggesting that they produce $294,317, almost $300,000 in services to the sewer system. The ratepayer is paying the town employees to produce nearly $300,000 in their services, including salaries, health insurance, retirement, workers' comp, and expenses, which I can only assume is office expenses. So, now, when we first started this, if we're going to be talking about being perfectly open and honest, I think we as a board were more than perfectly open and honest with you since the day we interviewed you about this matter. But nonetheless, you plugged it into the budget anyway, at basically the full rate. I don't see the savings as anything but de minimis that you're claiming. We had instructed you to produce time and rate sheet, a time and rate study by each department. Why did we do that? As a courtesy. Because we did not want to blindside you. We did not want to hurt the budget and hurt the town in the way of services. We legitimately wanted to know what were the legitimate expenses. And we wanted to know that, again, as a courtesy, so we did not blindside you. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up real quickly here. Harbor Master says they expend $4,000 $344 in the way of
Well, I think
total
you've got to read
benefits.
that. You've got to read that across the full line, though. They're saying that 1.7% of their time.
Mr. McAuliffe, $4,344, it says total.
With
I don't
fringe.
need to read it across the line. I'm asking you a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
How many time and hourly rate sheets did the harbor master turn in to you?
I don't know how many you turned in. We did look at those. We have a big stack, and quite candidly, we spent more time with the department heads discussing it with them than just crunching the numbers on that, frankly, because in order to produce a budget this timely, I don't know that we would have done a good job with the time in motion study.
So you didn't
sheets that-
utilize them, is what you're saying?
No, we did utilize them. We
And
looked
these
at
numbers
them.
reflect them?
I think it's a better reflection of sitting down and discussing with them. But yeah, they were
What I
utilized.
asked you was, did you utilize
They
the
were-
numbers they turned in to come up with these numbers?
I would
Because
say-
these numbers are remarkably close, if not identical, to the consultant's report that we received,
Yeah.
when was it?
Yeah, they may be.
No, not maybe, they are.
Okay.
If you put the
November
consultant's report
06.
next to this, you're not going to see any marked difference. So, and that consultant's report was what infuriated most of us the first time, because that was the same consultant who designed this system, which was brought in to justify a number that's not justifiable. So what I'm asking you is, why are these numbers that you plugged in remarkably similar to that consultant's report? Did you utilize the consultant's report, or did you utilize the time and rate studies?
I'd say we looked at both. The consultant's report didn't weigh completely in this. I think Mr. Sanguinet will confirm from day one what was the first thing I said we had to get our arms around.
So it's a
Well, I'm
coincidence.
answering the
It's
question.
a coincidence that they.
No, I'm saying it was part of the mix. But the bigger portion of what we spent time on was one-on-one with the department heads and saying, is this even close to what you do? If it's reasonable, then I think we need to go with this number and ratchet down somewhere else like we did, which if I recall, I think it's $85,000 in 1 year. And frankly, well, here's the irony though. Here's the irony, okay? We're going in the right direction.
Yeah, we
Okay.
sure are,
Well,
John.
for all those years I read, Selectman Savageau, desperation economics, whatever you want to call it, you weren't.
Pardon?
You were not.
Go
For
ahead.
all those years that I read, you were not going in the right direction. Is that a fair statement?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair
80,000
statement?
No,
It's not.
no.
Well, then you
Eight-
want to
80
ratchet it up to that same 55,000 on average?
No,
And make it
the-
$1,000,001?
I want the truth of the matter, Mr.
I'm telling you the truth, Mr. Savageau.
And
We
the
looked
truth
at
is,
everything.
these
I'm
numbers-
telling you the truth.
Please.
Because
And the-
I don't have a reason not to tell you the truth. Okay?
truth-
And I don't like the way that tone is even put out there.
Well, you know what, Mr. McAuliffe? We've
The
been at
truth.
this for a
Bruce.
long time.
I am here to serve this board in the best capacity I can.
And this
If you're
is
gonna-
how-
If you're
and
going to
this-
distrust my integrity,
and this
then
is-
we're definitely going down a bad path.
And this is the best you
That
think-
is the best I can
So
put
you stand
forward.
by the numbers?
I do.
Okay. And it's just coincidental or not that the
I think
consultant's
I've answered that, Mr.
report
Savageau. We looked at
is
everything.
exactly identical to these numbers.
We looked at everything, and this is a very close estimate of where we are
Now-
in practice, day to day. There are some weeks that I've spent 3 full days on the sewer
I see. Okay.
issues.
Are
Like
you-
what? I'm answering the question. When we go through the betterment calculations, there's times where we spent 3 full days on that.
I see.
Okay.
And
If this
are
board's
you-
going to distrust my integrity,
It's-
then you probably have the wrong person.
Well, that probably is true
Well, then
in
let's
my
put it out
personal
there.
opinion, but
Excuse
what
me.
I'm
Then let's
suggesting...
put it out there, Mr.
Well-
Savageau. I'm too big to hide under the table.
Not,
All right, excuse me.
Clear the room.
Knock it off. Excuse me. Excuse me.
now you...
Excuse me.
Yeah, we do work for you.
Okay, you know
Actually,
what?
we
You know
do.
what? This meeting is adjourned.
We work...
I'll accept your motion, Jean. Motion?
Well, wait a minute. Before
Jim?
you do that, hold on.
No.
This is exactly why these people showed up, by
Madam
the way.
Chair?
Yeah.
For the
I'd-
very point.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we go into executive session
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
second that.
okay, there we go.
Purpose.
Executive session.
Bye.
For what purpose?
to discuss employee, whatever it is, number 2.
Number 2, consider the disciplinary dismissal here, complaints, charges brought against, okay. Okay, is there a second to go into it? Okay, so there's a motion to go into executive and a second. John? Bruce, Yes, me, yes, Tim, yes, Jane, yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will not be coming back into open session. We'll take a 5-minute break beforehand. Thank you.